I've looked far and wide to find you the best 2 Seiko 5s out there that have come down massively in price. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today it's all about Seiko. Now, I've said it in the past, but I think a Seiko 5 is the best entry-level mechanical watch for anyone starting their watch journey. But also, Seiko 5s are still fantastic for those of us that have been in the game for 10 years or more. Now, the 5 of Seiko simply means a watch made by Seiko with these 5 features. 1, it's a mechanical automatic. 2, it has a day-date display. 3, it's water resistant. 4, it has a recessed crown at 4 o'clock. And 5, has a durable case and bracelet. Put all those features together and you've pretty much got a watch for life. Super! Now today I'm going to show off a Seiko 5 and a Seiko 5 Sports. Pretty sure they came out last year, but they have significantly gone down in price since then. And this is what tends to happen with a big company that churns out a fair few references every single year.
There's bargains to be had.
Now, one of my favourite Seikos that I still own, I bought it 2 years ago, and it is the SRPK 171K1. And this was a reissue of the very first Seiko 5 sports watch made all the way back in 1968. This watch was fantastic for so many reasons, like the true to classic size, the exclusive stainless steel case, and the exclusive bracelet. But this limited edition watch was not expensive at around £350. Unfortunately, this watch sold out pretty darn quickly, but the following year in 2024, Seiko released another Seiko 5 Sports, another reissue from a watch made in 1968, and on first inspection does look a lot like this one I bought already. However, you will see it is pretty different. The other Seiko 5 I've had my eye on is more of a homage to a Seiko watch that came out in 1969. It doesn't have the case of that old watch, but definitely has the features. Now, it is a big thank you to Francis & Gay Jewelers. They are an authorized dealer of many wonderful brands you and I love, including the magical Seiko. And usually, if you found a good deal online, Francis & Gay have always matched it. However, the prices of these 2 watches are pretty special. Over £100 off from last year, and I think now is the time to pull the trigger. Anyway, let me show you these wonderful watches, tell you why I think you should have a look at them, give you my wife's opinion of them, and let's take a deep dive into some Seiko 5s. Are you watch for life ready? Let's go! Right, great double whammy show for you today. The first watch that I've had my eye on for a long time, and I have mentioned it in a few top 10 watches you should buy shows. This, my friends, is the SRPK 67K1.
A sporty number.
Yes, me being a red, white and blue fan, especially on watches, it's been very hard for me over the months not to buy this. Now, as you can see, what we have here is essentially an SKX stainless steel case with a very unique looking bezel and one of my favourite affordable watch dials. Now, this watch not trying to be a dive watch and more of a neo-retro rally watch, I can forgive the fact that Seiko killed the SKX and then brought it back in 7 million different other references. However, this does still have that feeling of an SKX, the 007 or the 009. What Seiko have done, some might say a little lazily, is take as many features as they could from this original design and change the look of their 5KXs. And you know what? I dig it. We got a 42.5mm case, 13.4mm thick, and just like the original SKX, we have a 22mm lug width. This watch is chunky, but if history serves me well, it's not going to sit on my wrist like a puck because of the beautiful way this case is formed. Love the fact that Seiko have put drilled lugs in this reference. What lets this watch and many affordable Seikos down is the state of their bracelets. Jingly. Possibly one too many jingly, but it's just, ooh, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Rolled links. We do have a press clasp. We've got loads of micro adjust holes. It does a job, but it is the head of the watch that you're paying your money for, really. The bezel, well, it is unidirectional, which is weird seeing it's not a diver, and it has that typical spongy, wongy Seiko-ness to it. Little bit of play to it, but it is pretty fidgetable. We don't have a screw-down crown. We have a display case back. This watch is 100 meters water resistant, which is all you need. The dial is protected by a hard Lex crystal, which some people have a problem with, but I have never had a problem with. But what I love most about this watch is the late 60s dial. Baton handset, great racing red seconds hand. The Seiko logo on this dial is applied. I'm not a fan of the new Seiko 5 logo, I've got to be honest. It does look like Superman's chest plate. It is a Seiko 5, so we have a date at 3 o'clock, and it's framed pretty darn similar to my SRPK. This watch and the other watch I'm going to show you is powered by an 4R36. 41 hours power reserve, 21,600 beats per hour. It hacks, it hand winds. And I must say, I really do appreciate the big crown at 4 o'clock. That's a great thing with it being an SKX case. This watch last year was going for £310. Right now, it's only 217. A Seiko 5 not only homaging a long lost reference back in the late 60s, but it's also in one of the best dive cases Seiko ever made. The bracelet is awful, but if you get that off and get yourself a nice rally strap, this watch will honestly turn heads. In a good way.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Next up, a watch I disregarded straight away when it came out. Me being lucky enough to get one of these SRPK 17s. To me, I felt Seiko brought out the same watch, but just used a different bezel. But on closer inspection, this thing is very cool and completely different. Now, this SRPL 05K1 is a reissue of the 5126-1890. And it was known for being on the wrist of the guy that played the Japanese TV show The Masked Rider, or Kamen Rider. And as you can see, this is pretty much a spitting image of it, isn't it? Now, what threw me at first when this watch came out last year, the dial. It is pretty much exactly the same as this SRPK. However, the dial is the only thing that's the same, because as you can see, the stainless steel cases are completely different. So much so that yes, the bracelet is the same, but the end links have had to have been changed. An end link needed to be made to hug up in between the lugs. Now, this is a phenomenal case, and if the bracelet was off this, wow, it would look cool. And in fact, with this reference, you do get a lovely leather rally strap. It's a bit stiff, but it's very nice. Plus, you do get this watch in a box that is pretty much the same as the one you would have got in the late 60s. That's cool. Now, what drew me to my SRPK was the dial. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Not only that, the size of the watch. It was pretty much a like-for-like copy. This one is also pretty darn similar. We've got a 38.5mm case. It's only 44.8 lug to lug, 12.4mm thick, and 20mm lug width. The dial, like the last watch, is protected by a hard Lex, but this time it is domed, more of a vintage feel. The crown is not screw in, very tiny, recessed into the case, just how it was back in the 60s. Screw-in case back, which gives this watch 100 meters of water resistance. Again, love the drilled lugs on this case, and look how thin this case looks. The bracelet, well, it's just like mine. I really loved it. Solid end links, solid links. It is pin and collars like mine, which was a bit horrible, but once it's fitted, you'll never have a problem with it. This is nowhere near a dive watch, so we do have a small clasp. It only has 2 micro adjusts. However, the links are so small, you will get a good fit. Pressed clasp, nothing to write home about. But on the whole, I really do love the bracelet. The only issue, if you look at the lugs, they're radial brushed, and the end link of the bracelet is vertically brushed. Now, that's the same on my SRPK, but I just notice it a lot more on this reference to mine. But let's take a look at the dial. Pretty identical to my SRPK. The only difference being the blue of the sports text printed is slightly darker, but overall this watch just feels and looks a little bit more premium premium than the checkered flag Seiko 5. This bezel is friction based. It's not a dive watch. It doesn't need to twist one way. It's actually really nice and smooth, exactly the same as mine, to be fair. The one thing I love with these old reissue references is the size of the reholts. Seiko do great sloping reholts. That makes the dial smaller and fits brilliantly on my wrist. Now, just like the last watch, this is powered by the 4R36. It's a great solid movement. It's never going to let you down. It's not the 4 Hz sweep I love, but it is a Seiko workhorse. Now, last year, this bad boy was £400, and that was a little bit more expensive than this one I bought. This one is a limited edition. However, 9,999 were made. Don't really call that limited, do we? Me personally, this watch, I think it's one of the steals of the year if you can get it for £300.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and the checkered flag beauty does wear very well. And it reminds me of when I had my SKX 009. I did love that watch. It was a little bit head heavy, made even heavier by the Jubilee bracelet I had on it. You do feel the height of this watch, particularly if you do have smaller wrists, but I just love this dial. The SRPL05, this is my favorite of the two. It definitely fits my wrist better, it's slimmer, it looks more vintage. I just wish it had a slightly different dial to this one, otherwise I would have bought it. Now, I know what you guys are saying. We have a watch here that is now £217, and we have a watch here that is £300. They both have the same movement, so why is this one significantly more expensive? Well, I did say it was a limited edition. That's one. This has a stainless steel case that you can't find on any other Seiko. It was purely made for this model. It has a bracelet that has only been used on this and this model. This watch is more of a truer like for like of the original watch, where this is more of a homage, just taking inspiration on the looks. I honestly think these are two of the best Seiko 5s on the market right now, and I'm not 100% sure how long they're gonna be here for. The brand does discontinue these models because they make too darn many of them. Any one of these two watches would look fantastic in any watch collection, but if you are starting your watch journey where you're looking for the best mechanical automatic watch, you can't go wrong with this one, laddie. Scottish! Who would have thought it? One of them days. So here it is, my wife's views of both these watches, starting with the SRPK67K1. Oh, whoa, this is a busy one. It's a bit blingy, it's a bit chunky. I don't like the grip part of the turny thing, bezel. It's okay, but no, I don't like it. And now the SRPL05K1. Well, this doesn't look as busy, it doesn't look as cheap, and it doesn't feel as cheap. Reminds me of a rubber ring. It's okay though. Insightful as always, wife, thank you very much. Long story short, she prefers the masked rider. Like me, just told in a different way. Thank you so much to Francis and Gay for sending these in. If you want a banging Seiko or any brand, pretty much any brand across the world, check out their website. Always have the new releases, and they have some great bargain deals like the ones I've shown today. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I think I have, because you've just run the bath, haven't you? Yeah, I've got you for a few more minutes now. Why don't you click this one? Oh, you will love it, I guarantee it. You know, go on. Click it. Click it!